What's going on? Welcome back to Daily Football Zone. I'm here. My name's Kev. I'm here with X and Dez. It's
What's
been a
up?
minute. We haven't been
Yes,
on here
sir.
in a minute, but it's always a good time to come back and talk some football, man. How y'all been today? How y'all been since the last time we've been on?
I've been good, man. I've been great.
Man,
I'm
how old
kind
you
of sad
guys?
about the season we had with
Yeah,
the Raiders, but hey, it's a new season, always new possibilities. So I'm very excited to see and talk about what's going to go on with my team and all the other teams around the league.
Right? I'm sure last time we spoke, y'all were hyped. Now it's a different ball game. But what's it
Definitely.
called? As you can see, for everyone that's gonna be watching on YouTube, we got a new logo. I meant the intro video was outdated. I'm gonna make a new one. Probably by the next video we drop, it's gonna be updated. But because I totally forgot about updating that till now. But yeah, you kind of see you see the new logo in the background. Kind of got a whole new background as well. The goal is to put out more episodes, more content, more video content as well, more content on social media as well. So, a lot of it's gonna change a little bit. Still put out the content and stuff, but not be what it was before, obviously. But that's life, and things change. But yeah, y'all ready to talk about what we got, or anything y'all want to say before we get into all the stuff we got to talk about today?
let's get it.
I'm ready to go in. Yeah.
All right, first, as we're recording this on Monday, February 27th, the Washington Commanders released quarterback Carson Wentz and defensive back Bobby McCain. That move, the decision to release Wentz saves them. What was it, 26.17 million? What I read,
hmm
and
Yeah.
then McCain
That's
was
big.
was another 4.4 million. So, about 30 million in cap space saved by releasing those two veterans, which I think was the right move. Trading for
Agreed.
Wentz, I obviously didn't think was the right move because they gave up what, like two second round picks for him, right? Was it something like
Yeah.
that?
Something
So
like that. Yeah.
just for him to go 2-5 as a starter, 11 and 9 touchdown to interception ratio and
hmm
like 1,700 yards. They didn't even play
Yeah.
the whole year. So
Yeah.
yeah, what are your thoughts about those two corresponding moves by Washington? I'll let you start, X.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I think it was a necessary move to make, especially if they're really trying to compete next year. It was a little bit of a head scratcher to get Carson Wentz in the beginning because it was kind of like obvious he was never going to be like an elite quarterback, and you already have your bridge guy with Heineke. Um, and you think Wentz is marginally better than him, but at the same time, both of them don't really move the needle. It'll be interesting though, seeing what their um.
Yeah.
I tried to talk in the draft, but I try to stick it out with Sam Howell or even like a bridge crack to pair with him.
Yeah.
And
I would agree with that. I think that's I think, Carson Wentz was never the truth, and it's kind of been that way, I feel like, ever since he got injured. So, he was never going to be like a stable long term solution for the Washington Commanders. So, getting rid of him now saves them a lot of cap so they can go maybe get another quarterback, say Derek Carr, he's on the market, or even save that money, put it towards other things that they need and draft a quarterback too. Um,
From what I read, I think
I think,
they going with Sam Howell, right? From what I read.
who
I
was
think
that?
Rivera. I think Rivera came out saying that Sam Howell's their guy, so maybe they don't even draft a quarterback.
Yeah, yeah. And then if you guys remember, at some point last year, there was like an article coming out where they even said that the team rallied way more behind Taylor Heineke than they did Carson Wentz. So I think ultimately that sealed the deal for Carson Wentz's future is Taylor Heineke outperforming him and being more of a leader than they expected
Yeah,
during the
so they
season they
say
had
they say
last year.
Carson
So
Wentz is like a locker room. He's not a locker room guy, so
yeah, and he hasn't had much success, and he was on the Colts too, I think.
yeah, the
Right?
year before,
Yeah,
yeah.
he didn't have much success over there, and you know, it's not gonna cut it in the NFL, and it's a business. So
Yeah, man. I don't know. I, I'll ask you this: do you think he's gonna You think he signs with the roster this year?
If he does, I don't think he's a starter. I don't think
No, no,
he's
no, I don't
getting
think he'll
paid
be a
starter
starter
money.
either.
And I think he'll get picked up to be a backup somewhere just for competition, but I don't think he's a starter material at this point.
I think
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
possible he retires, to be honest, especially with all the injuries he's had, and especially if you consider even the amount of money he's made as a starter for the Colts and the Commanders, because he was actually on the big contract that he got from the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if no one decides not to pick him up, just due to the fact that he hasn't been a leader, he's not a locker room guy. Obviously, injury prone. His play's been subpar. It wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he just doesn't play. Like, a team just doesn't decide to pick him up. But there could be a team that's desperate to bring in a guy that that could possibly happen. But I think his days are obviously numbered.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't
Yeah.
see him being a starting quarterback anywhere else. I don't know who would
No.
take that risk. You might as well draft a guy at that point. You might as well,
Mm-hmm.
you
More
might as
upside
well
at that point.
get somebody day 2 if you really wanted a new quarterback, than not, sign a washed quarterback who probably want. I'm not gonna say too much money at this point. He had, beggars can't be, he don't get what he gets, but I think you rather go with somebody with more upside than what you already know what you're getting from Carson Wentz, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's possible, honestly, that he doesn't even want to play in a backup role. I know there was like stories surrounding the Super Bowl with the Eagles when they had played against the Patriots in 2017, and I think it was LeGarrette Blount that was talking about it. He was saying that Carson Wentz didn't really take it too well when Nick Foles won the Super Bowl without Carson Wentz starting. So I don't know. It's just something to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, I say, just like they say, he's not a locker room guy. He's not a leader. I don't know who'd want to, take a flyer on that. In my opinion, I don't know who would be a good fit for him either. To be honest, but yeah, we can get into the next thing we're going to talk about tonight, and that is the Los Angeles Chargers making coaching staff moves. I got the picture right here. We got the biggest name is Derek Ansley being promoted to defensive coordinator. Then you also had a couple other moves like Tom Donatel being a passing game coordinator, and then he was their assistant secondary coach. Now he's the secondary coach since Ansley got promoted, and then Doug Nussmeier is the quarterbacks coach, and then Jeff Howard linebackers coach. I know you guys as Raider fans, you guys keep an eye on what the Chargers are doing. How you feel about these moves?
To be honest, I think
Sure.
I don't think it really will move the needle either way because it is Staley's defense, but I think it is a good thing that they're trying to bring in, experienced guys. Tom Donatel obviously probably learned a lot from his dad, Ed Donatel, who was the DC for the Vikings. I don't know. There's guys that have been in the league for a while. Even Derek Ansley had some time with the Raiders as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think in the end, it's Staley's defense. So how they perform, it's really up to how Staley coaches them. But it's good to have guys that know the system, that have been around it. They run a lot of cover 4 quarters defense. Donatel, his dad runs that same cover 4 defense. He had ran it with Minnesota last year. So it's just all guys that know the system. So really, honestly, on that side of the ball, recently they need all the help they could get. Their pass defense was really good last year. Just in crucial moments, though, they did give up some big plays.
Yeah, Ansley, he has a lot of experience going back to, he was the defensive coordinator and DB coach at University of Tennessee, and then like you said, he was with the Raiders in 2018, and then before that, I think he was Alabama defensive backs coach in like 2017 or so. So, I mean, he has, and then even I think Kentucky before that, so he has quite experience in different places within the past decade or so.
Yeah, and I think for him to be, promoted to Chargers DC, they have a lot of the right pieces there. So it's going to be on him and Staley to, get the most out of their players. Like I said, they already had a great pass defense. They just fell short in a lot of crucial moments. So if they can fix those tiny mistakes, and he can bring a different energy to the squad, maybe they can make some noise. Every year Chargers fans always trying to make some noise. So maybe, maybe their defense could actually, come through, put it together. You know,
Is Khalil Mack a Charger in 2023?
man, hard to say. His cap is I don't know his cap, but I just know that it's really
It's
big.
big. It's big. I think they'll
Um,
restructure it though. I don't see why you trade a second
yeah,
round pick in a like a fourth and a sixth or something like that to
and I saw
not
didn't they
restructure it.
get rid of Kenneth Murray too?
Nah,
Or
I
no, they
don't see
still have
that.
Kenneth Murray.
They still
They
have
might have
Kenneth Murray.
talked about it as like a possible cut, I think, but they've honestly had rumors about a lot of guys.
Yeah, like
There was
Keenan
even
Allen
rumors
and
about
Gerald
Keenan
Everett.
Allen.
So they're, I
Yeah,
think Allen's
that team.
owed like 14 million or something like that.
To be honest, I think
Yeah,
they'll try to run it back though with a lot of the pieces they have. Exactly, they probably would try to restructure the contract first, if anything.
I do want to say, however, I think Brandon Staley, you know, if he can't get a playoff win this year, I think he might be out.
Yeah, the discussion might
You
have to
know,
be made sometime soon, but
You
going on
blow
fourth year,
you blow that
going
huge
27
lead against Jacksonville, and then
while
Chargers gonna
getting 4
Charger.
turnovers.
yeah, I'd say Brandon Staley for sure is on the hot seat this year.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd want to keep him. You know, Herbert gets all this, media attention, gets glorified, and you yet to win a playoff game with him. You barely made it this year, and then you blew that 27-point lead. And if you don't do it, if you don't win a game, at least win a playoff game this year, or shows that you made improvement at all, yeah, I'd say he's on the hot seat for sure, and he'll be out if he doesn't.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't see why they'd hold on to him if you have these playmakers. You have arguably a bright future at quarterback, and you still have a good defense. You have one of the best safeties. Your pass, you got good edge rushers. You got a good run game. Well, at least Eckler, he finds a way to get in the end zone. Your
And
O
they're gonna
line's promising. You still you'll get what's his name? What's the guy that got hurt?
Slater?
Slater, yeah.
Slater.
I don't know why I was want to say Sawyer, but it's not Jamar Sawyer.
That's the right
Slater.
tackle.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
you gotta think too. They're gonna end
Rashawn
up
Slater
having
will
to
come
pay
back.
Herbert soon.
If they're smart, they'll pay him soon, or they're gonna have to give him big money.
Yeah,
because Burrow's contract is coming as well, and even they're gonna figure something out with Lamar Jackson as well. So they might have to pay him before that contract inflation creeps up.
Yeah, because every year it's just going up. The market is going up every year. But we can get into what we got next. We got the 2023 NFL Combine, which begins, I believe, March 2nd, right?
I believe so, actually.
Yeah, I think
so,
it's the linebackers and defensive line on March 2nd, which is Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. So yeah, man, what players are you guys looking forward to seeing on for this year's Combine?
I have.
Are we included in Pro Day in this too?
No, we're just talking about Combine.
Combine. I did honestly, just for his measurements. I kind of want to see, and even a lot of plays it's backed up on film. But I do want to see if Tyree Wilson, edge out of Texas Tech, is as much of an athletic freak as people make him out to be. And honestly, like, he has a lot of flash plays on film as well. But just to see like how he actually measures and like relative to everybody else that's done the combine, it would be interesting to see.
Yeah, he's expected to be top 10 guy, top 15 guy, top 10, right?
Yeah, he's a 6'7" dang near. Let me pull up the exact measurables. Yes, he's 6'6", 275. Obviously they'll probably have a different measurement at the combine. And they'll even measure his wingspan and stuff too, which is actually really important for a player playing in the edge position. And I don't know. I think personally, I think he'll test well. I know, like I said, he had a lot of flash plays at Texas Tech, and I feel like his game film, matches up with people saying that he's a freak of nature. So I think it would be interesting to see.
Yeah, that'll be on March 2nd. March 3rd is the defensive backs. March 4th is the quarterbacks, receivers, and tight ends. And then Sunday's running backs and offensive line. So, or is that Monday?
Yeah, for me, I'm looking forward to Utah tight end Dalton Kincaid. Man, I mean, I think I
saw today that he's not gonna do drills.
Oh no.
Yeah,
well, anyways, that dude is a beast. That dude is a beast.
That's my guy.
Yeah, no, they got some other players like Jordan Addison too, wide receiver USC. He's a nice route runner, natural with the hands, plays with good tempo. And I think he's one of the receivers that has a chance to do work actually as a rookie, and be able to be potentially a number one, depending on the team he goes to, or a number two at that. And
Yeah, I like him as a pro ready guy.
Yeah, he has great speed. He can hit it in another gear when he does have the ball. So polished route runner too. So I think it would be interesting to see how he does.
Yeah, I've always liked to think of him as a faster Calvin Ridley.
Right. Yeah, he does need to get stronger, at high point catching the ball, 50-50 balls, but he's already got decent size, decent speed, and I think he'll be able to find his way once he does get drafted.
Yeah, are you guys who's your guys' number one wide receiver going into this year's draft?
Number one receiver?
You guys like the TCU guy, or you Johnson, or is there someone else you have in mind?
I don't know. Quentin Johnson, I feel like he checks all the boxes. The one thing that he doesn't do is attack the ball, high point it, and it's I don't know. It's a little bit of a concern for somebody his size, but and I've even seen comparisons to Kevin White. But to be honest, I think he's a much better player than Kevin White was.
Kevin White
coming into the draft. Kevin White, he had all the speed in the world, and Johnson does too. It does definitely suck that he doesn't high point the ball like somebody his size should. But if you see like a lot of the plays that he has, just when he gets the ball in his hands, he could outrun anybody on the field from anywhere. He's a threat to score from any part of the field. So I think maybe, I guess he never really had a situation where he had to make the contested catch, high pointing the ball. Duggan wasn't really good at, throwing those 50-50 balls. It was more so every time he was open. But, he always traps it inside of his hands. Maybe with a better quarterback or, I don't know, some NFL coaching, he could get better at that. But I kind of like him as the number one receiver just from really just the player and the plays he made at TCU.
Yeah. Another wide receiver to look out for is Jackson Smith. Jackson Smith Najiba.
Yeah. He was hurt majority of the year too. So man.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think he projects as like a really good slot receiver, kind of like akin to Amon-Ra St. Brown, just a little bit. I kind of see that in him.
Yeah, no, he torched my Utes in the Rose Bowl, so
that was all-time performance in that Rose Bowl.
I already know when the draft comes along, they're gonna show a lot of those highlights from that game. So I gotta prepare for that, man. But he's likely gonna be a first round guy as well. There's a couple teams that can do a receiver. I know the Chargers could use one, especially if they move on Keenan Allen. I think they can target a receiver.
I think the Chargers would do themselves better though if they got one of the deep threat guys. To be honest,
Baltimore could target a receiver. So there's a couple teams that can go after a receiver in the first round. Those are some of the guys that you can look out for. Me specifically, I'm excited to see the quarterbacks, obviously, and then even the depending on what me as a Carolina fan, depending on what we do at running back, I'm curious to see what how they do as well, because I don't know if we're bringing back Deontay Foreman or not, and I don't think Chuba Hubbard's the main guy. So, running back can be in our can be a target from us, and also the tight ends. It sucks that Kincaid's not gonna do any drills, but that's my boy. I've been hyping him up all year. So
yes, we have.
Between those three positions and then the edge rushers as well, because I think Brian Burns, he'd be even better with a better guy alongside with him. Obviously, Yetur Gross-Matos isn't the guy. Marquise Haynes is a good rotational guy, but he's not. We're definitely missing Hassan Reddick, and shout out to him, and didn't get to win the Super Bowl, but he at least helped Philly get there. But I think we definitely need an edge rusher. So depending on what we do at quarterback, if we bring in Derek Carr, maybe we're bringing someone like Tyree Wilson at edge at 9. What we do, if we bring in a quarterback or we draft a quarterback, it will depend on what we do in the draft. But we'll, until then, we'll see.
Yeah, it's about a similar situation for the Raiders as well. So we'll see what happens with that as well.
I'm pretty excited to see Will Levis, man. He's kind of one of those dudes who, didn't have that great of a year last year, but you see the film and you see that there's potential there for talent. So I kind of want to see how he does in the combine.
Yeah, the odds were definitely stacked against him in his last season at Kentucky.
I know this, and I was thinking about it since you guys are Raider fans and my Panther fans. This is big both for both of all of us when it comes to quarterback because we both our teams might just be trading up to get a quarterback or maybe stay put and have a guy fall to him. Really, this depends. I know they said that Chicago's. I think I read today. I thought they're open to trading the number 1 pick. So
Yeah, I saw that.
for me, I think it's smart unless you trade Fields and then you draft a guy and then I'd give up the 9th overall pick for Fields, to be honest. But and then they can get Bryce Young or whatever they want to do. But I think they're gonna trade back, get somebody like Jalen Carter or Anderson, depending on how far back they go, or even Tyree Wilson if they wanted to go back to 9 or 7 with one of our teams. So
Yeah.
I ask you guys this: would you guys want to move up to number 1 to get a quarterback?
Oh yeah. No, for me, I would, only because that's our biggest hole right now. We got rid of Carr. They said there were rumors about us getting Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. I didn't really buy into any of that, but those are kind of shot out the window. So, I think if we're going to keep Devontae Adams, we need to keep him happy. And the only way to do that is by getting him a good quarterback. So why not start with the draft?
All right, X, what's your? I'll ask you this. All right.
I have a slightly
since you brought up Rodgers, since you're opposed to going up to 1, would you want to trade for Rodgers? Would you rather move up to 1 or trade for Rodgers? What would you prefer?
I feel like any aggressive move, because either way, I feel like for Rodgers and moving up to 1, you're giving up a king's ransom. So unless they're confident that they have, the greatest quarterback prospect ever, and this is their guy, I don't know. I just don't see it, especially with the roster being really, really bad. Especially defensively, it's Crosby and everybody else. So, you're gonna give up a lot to get.
Either or, you're giving up a lot of capital.
Yeah, either way, you're giving up a lot of capital. But say you stay put in, one of those prospect quarterbacks, which I know people love trading for quarterbacks, trading up in the draft. So it's never a guarantee. But say you stay put, you end up with one of those quarterbacks that you like, they're high on your board. You still have all your capital, and so it's like either you're going to trade a lot of capital and maybe get the guy that you want and have a roster that's not ready to compete for a little while. Because even our cap space, we have a lot, and especially with cutting Carr, we'll get a lot more. But I just feel like you're either getting that quarterback and then just building solely in free agency, or you're taking a chance on maybe one of those rawer quarterbacks, say like a Levis or an Anthony Richardson, and you still have all that capital. And if you strike gold and they end up being good, you still have all of those picks to work with, as well as your free agency cap.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you one more scenario. CJ Stroud falls to 7 to the Raiders, or trade up to number 1.
If CJ Stroud falls to 7 to the Raiders, that to me is, that's like best case scenario for us, because I think, though CJ Stroud, he's a little raw, he's still polished enough, I think, to be a productive player at the NFL level. You saw in his 2 years at Ohio that he, his touchdown to interception ratio, I think it was like 40 to like maybe under 10 or something like that. He's, he doesn't turn the ball over. He makes right reads. He's, decent in the pocket. He's not like your typical running quarterback, but he's got the potential to be a running quarterback or someone who can elevate his pocket presence and be able to move around in there. So I think that'd be a home run pick for us if we do get him at 7.
All right, next. Stroud at 7 or trade up to number 1? What would you rather have?
I think Darian already knows this because I've kind of discussed it with him a little bit, but I don't like Stroud's ceiling compared to all the other prospects pretty much at quarterback that are being talked about in the first round discussion.
So would you rather trade up to number 1 or draft?
I'd rather trade up to the number 1 and get Bryce Young than get CJ Stroud. But ideally, I wouldn't want us to trade up to number 1. To be honest, I would be fine with the Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. I mean, it's not like the greatest thing in the world, but if the team feels comfortable and that's their guy, that they that they get paid way more than us, so it's like you might as well trust them. I want us to pick who we feel good about. That's really what really. And if that is Stroud, I won't complain. I won't complain.
Yeah. What I will say though is that Josh McDaniels, I think the rest of his coaching tenure with the Raiders, leans on this decision,
Definitely.
who he gets at quarterback for this next year. And so we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sold on Josh McDaniels yet, but we'll see.
I never was, but that's just me.
Yeah, I know you.
And I know I said off video. Again, we're in February, about to be March. Again, right now everyone is assuming Stroud's going to be the first. I'm not Stroud. Young's going to be the first quarterback off the board, but we all thought Hutchinson was last year, and then things changed within the week. The previous week, the rumors were that Walker's the guy. So you never know. It also depends on what Chicago does with the number one pick, if they trade out, or that could be a whole different. That can just change all the scenarios, and then we'll see who really is the number one quarterback. Because I'm assuming if they trade out, someone's trading to number one to get a quarterback. So, it could be Indianapolis, and they might think Will Levis is their guy, so they can trade up from 4 to 1 and get Will Levis. So, it'll be intriguing. Obviously, the combine is definitely going to put a lot of hype on guys. You see it every year where someone has a great combine and it helps their stock. So, again, Anthony Richardson might, if he does a good combine and has a good pro day, he can end up being, he's the number one quarterback in the draft. So, all this stuff plays factors in stocks, but for the draft. But we'll see how the production actually is on the field. But we'll see.
I got a scenario for you, Caleb. Would you rather trade up to the number 1 or get Richardson at number 9? I know it's a lot.
Because he can make plays, but he was just too up and down at Florida for me to be like excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
Only way I'd like that is we get Richardson at 9, then we trade back in the first to get Kincaid. Then I'd be happy.
Yeah, I think any team that gets Kincaid will be getting a home run pick. I mean, I've seen him compared to Zach Ertz, possibly a better version of Zach Ertz. So
I compare him to Kelsey. He's gonna be the next Kelsey. No,
Travis Kelce too.
But I mean, and that's the thing. This like quarterbacks, tight ends. There's a lot of good tight ends this year, and there's a lot of some people like Michael Mayer over Kincaid. Some people like Musgrave. So it's like it really just some people think Kincaid's the third best and Musgrave's over him. So I mean, we'll see what happens comes draft day, and then after all the pro days and then the combines and all that, and all the mock drafts that are going to come out. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. We definitely need a tight end. Our tight end presence has been horrible since Greg Olsen left. So I hope that we can.
Yeah.
We hope we can find somebody, because Ian Thomas ain't it. Tommy Tremble, he can block, but he's not that playmaking tight end.
Yeah.
And he's good at the pass block, or the run block, but he's not playmaker when it comes to with catching the ball and making plays. He's not that.
And I got another question. Where do you all think the John Robinson will fall in the draft? Like, how high do you think he'll go? Top 10, or do you think he's gonna fall?
I don't see running backs ever going top 10 anymore. Like, especially with the narrative that they only think running back should be first round anymore. No, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind him seeing if Miles Sanders moves on, if he can go to Philly, or even, to be honest, if he's available at 31 with the Chiefs, you have Pacheco, but other than that, like, I think that would elevate their run game for sure, bringing in Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd say
it'd be excited to see what they do this year too with that pick as well.
I'm taking a look at the draft order right now, actually.
If he could fall in the second and Carolina gets him in the second, and we get Richardson and Robinson,
that might be a good combo. I don't lie.
If Kincaid's off the board, maybe trade up to get Robinson a couple spots if it's in the beginning of the second. I wouldn't mind that.
The ultimate Josh McDaniels move: draft Bijan Robinson after letting Josh Jacobs go in free agency.
Oh damn! Yeah, because Jacobs gonna be a Panther.
I can't stand this dude, Josh McDaniels. I'm not gonna lie.
Football terrorist.
McDaniels is gonna trade up to draft another Florida quarterback. this time it's Richardson.
I wouldn't.
That
I
is
wouldn't put it
literally what
past
I'm
him.
scared
I
of.
would
I'm not
put
gonna
it-
lie.
yeah,
That's the
I wouldn't put it
McDaniels
past him.
move.
For the
Yeah.
memes, I really
McDaniels
feel like
special.
that's
You trade up.
destiny.
You trade up to get a raw quarterback from Florida.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
raw,
remember.
yeah,
I thought about
super
that so many
raw.
times. So many
I was
times.
looking at Richardson's accuracy compared to everyone else, and he's not horrible, but he's, like you were saying earlier, Caleb, he's very inconsistent, and he doesn't hit on every throw.
There's a
He's
lot
a
to be
good runner,
desired.
and he can see the field pretty well, but
You're pretty
he
much
just got to work
banking
on
on
his
his
arm.
potential.
Exactly.
But
One
If he
thing
can
I
pull a
will
Justin
say,
Fields, that would be ideal. But
one thing about him that I actually do like is he has shown he's willing to he tries to be a pocket passer. He never tries to like really bail from a clean pocket too much. He definitely does try to like make the throws from the pocket. A lot of times though, it's just his decision making and accuracy leave a lot to be desired. And it's
Yeah.
fixable. It's just a lot of times you don't see that fixed with a lot of the NFL prospects that end up going to the league. And even I know Josh Allen he's the exception, not the rule. But for every Josh Allen, you see your Jamarcus's, you're just super talented guys. Your Paxton Lynch's, your Hackenbergs. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
all those guys that got hyped up.
I think he's a lot better than them, though. I think he's a lot better than them.
Yeah, no doubt. But
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see, how the cards fall when it comes to draft day. It's gonna be in Kansas City this year, so for everyone that's going, don't eat too much barbecue. You gotta, stay awake to watch.
You end up looking
Right.
like
You
Andy
fall
Reid.
asleep.
Right? Don't end up looking like Andy Reid, man. You already know there'll be a bunch of Andy Reid lookalikes when it comes to draft day.
Yeah,
You're gonna see them all in the
yeah.
crowd.
No.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for it. Was it the last weekend of April like usual? So we're almost there. This month went by fast. You got March, we got free agency around the corner. We're gonna we're gonna go over that. We're gonna like I said, we're gonna start putting out more videos. Be able speak on free agency that's coming up. We're gonna talk about that. Do free agency grades. Do mock drafts. The draft grade. In the coming future, we're gonna aim for that. Looking forward to it. That's pretty much it for today's episode. Unless y'all got anything else you want to say before we head out.
Go Raiders.
Yep, go Raiders. Yeah.
I don't know about that, but yeah, a lot more content and videos on the way. Stay tuned, and until next time, y'all have a great night.
Peace out. You have a great night, man.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
man.
having us.